Hey, what's happening, folks? TechSport91 here, and Week 10 Team of the Week items are now in packs. This week is kind of a weird batch of cards. Each one has a double chemistry, but since they dropped all the new elite cards in packs on Thursday of last week, these cards may not be the most desirable fantasy cards, but nonetheless, they are new fantasy items, so I'm going to go ahead and review them. The items that are in packs are a Beast Mode Marshawn Lynch, which you get for completing this week's Madden 25 Fantasy Collection. I almost forgot what I was going to say there. Ahmad Brooks, Tavon Austin, Vincent Ray, James, I, yeah, Ihedigbo, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Mark Ingram, Tracy Porter, Riley Cooper, Will Blackmon, and the worst card of all, John Carlson. So let's go to the auction block and check out these new fantasy items. So EA is trolling us once again. They give us another card that is listed under the wrong team. This one this week is Will Blackmon. You guys want to take a guess what team he's listed under? Let's take a look. He is listed under the Seattle Seahawks. It took me about 2 minutes to find this card. I'm like, where is he at? I go to Twitter. Where is Will Blackmon? I can't find one. All of a sudden, he's a Seattle Seahawk now. Come on, guys. You guys out there flying kites, being dumb. Like, do y'all even watch football? Like, do you guys at EA watch football? You got the most random batch of fantasy cards. I don't think these guys watch football. But anyway, here's Will Blackmon, 87 overall quarterback. Pretty good speed, pretty good man coverage, good agility, and a nice play rec. This card is a nice, I want to say really much like a nice nickel cornerback because of the speed, cover those short, fast wide receivers. You got the Tavon Austin, you got the T.Y. Hilton, those guys of the world being fast, and this guy might be able to keep coverage with them. But this guy has no place on my team considering that he has terrible press and a terrible tackle. I like cornerbacks with pretty nice tackling and a pretty nice zone coverage because I don't want you guys to be one-dimensional out there. And this guy seems to be one-dimensional, being speed and only be able to cover guys in man with low awareness. That's not going to be a good fit for my team. But for its price, I can't complain about it. 3,000 coins. If you guys are building your team on a budget and you guys want a fast cornerback, this might be the guy for you. Just keep in mind he will get cheaper. I want to say probably around 1,000 coins this Friday when the new outsider cards drop because they're kind of crazy. But right now, stay away from this card. Wait till it gets cheaper. So this past weekend, there was a lot of outrage in the Madden community over Riley Cooper being a team captain. A lot of people didn't agree with that, but with me personally, I had no problem with it, considering that he's the only guy in the Eagles that really kind of deserved that card by default. Michael Vick's injured. Deshaun Jackson already got himself another card. So did LaShawn McCoy. And Nick Foles has had himself a nice fantasy card, and he wouldn't call him a quote-unquote leader, considering that him and Michael Vick kind of share the responsibility. So Riley Cooper is the only guy on that team that deserved this card. I try to make the argument for D'Amico Ryans, but that's another story for another day. But anyway, the 80 overall wide receiver Riley Cooper. A lot of people wanted to find out how they do fantasy items coincide with the new team captain cards, and I guess he figured it out. They're going to lower the rating. I don't mind that at all. People are mad about that just because, like, why we got two Riley Coopers? We got a 95 and 88. That's not fair. Too many Eagles. I don't mind it because if you guys think about it logically, if you do the Eagles collection, you spend 200,000 coins. So you should get a 95 overall wide receiver. With the 88 overall one, only go for 3,000 coins. Anybody can get this card. It's not basic. It's not requiring a lot of out of you to get this card versus the team cap one requiring pretty much 200,000 coins or more than that. So I don't mind that at all. But anyway, here's the Riley Cooper, 80 overall wide receiver. He had a pretty big week against that. What team did you play against? Was it the Reds? Not the Redskins. What team was it? I don't even remember what team it was. But it's kind of funny that Riley Cooper's getting all these touchdowns and Nick Foles at quarterback. I'm just saying. I'm not saying anything race involved there, but it's kind of funny that he's getting all these touchdowns now that Nick Foles is the quarterback. But he's pretty good speed, good catching. He's pretty a consistent wide receiver. Nothing too amazing about this guy. I do like his catching and tracking. That's pretty high, and that's a pretty good price for it. Reliable across the middle of the field. I might pick him up. I don't know. I have a lot of wide receivers you guys can see. I'm going to go ahead and compare him to, who's fair? Roddy White. He's slow too. Now, yeah, kind of the same price as well. These cards look very, very similar. Only thing Riley Cooper has on him is his speed by 3, and the catching is not there. So if you guys want a reliable receiver with good hands, both these cards aren't bad choices, and for the price, really can't get Riley Cooper the edge. 3,000 coins, and he will get cheaper. Not a bad option for a nice number 2 receiver for you guys out there who are balling on a budget. We are on to another cornerback this week in Tracy Porter, and I swear this guy always gets a pick 6 every season. Like, it doesn't matter where this guy is, what team he's on, who's he playing for. Like, he's gonna get a pick 6. He had one against Peyton Manning, I think, for 4 or 5 years ago in the Super Bowl. He had one last year against Drew Brees with the Broncos, and now he has one this year with the Raiders. So this guy obviously is a good ball hawking cornerback, and I'm hoping his catching translate over to the game, because if you guys play online, you know that catching in this game is pretty overrated when it comes to cornerbacks. They always drop picks, and it's so annoying. So hopefully Tracy Porter has hands, because if he does, it's not a bad price for a fast with good hand and cornerback. But like every other cornerback in this game, or every other fast one, he has pretty bad other attributes: 47 tackle, bad press, bad zone and bad awareness. So that all with that speed, he can pretty much do a lot of good things covering those faster, smaller wide receivers, Antonio Brown, T.Y. Hilton. But anybody with good route running, he will get roasted on. So I don't like that. But he looks like he won't get beat deep. 94 speed can catch up with anybody. So this might be a good cornerback. And for its price, you really can't complain about it. 5,000 coins, and it will get cheaper than that. So not a bad cornerback for you guys out there who are looking for some nice, high-rated players for super cheap. So if you guys are looking for a nice speed cornerback, Porter's your guy, and hopefully his catching is pretty good. I'm gonna check it out later on after the video, but his catching hopefully is better than average. Man, oh man, did Mark Ingram ever have himself a game against them Cowboys? Give him the ball, and what does he do? He averages 10.4 yards a carry, 145 yards, and a touchdown. Now, the funny thing about this is, I have no clue whatsoever if Mark Ingram is a good running back, or if he succeeded because the Cowboys had three, yes I said three, people injured on that defense, and Sean Lee and their two defensive tackles. So give Mark Ingram the ball against a bad defense, he does work. So he will land himself a nice contract this offseason because the Saints don't use him, and some team will get this former Heisman Trophy winner on their team this offseason. But nonetheless, Mark Ingram is a beast, and I do believe this card's stats are similar, if not identical, to the base gen, next gen Alfred Morris. If you guys want a nice, cheap, sturdy, powerful halfback, this might be the guy for you. Right now, I have the Alfred Morris collection complete just because this guy was a beast and I loved using him, so I decided to go ahead and get the collection done. But this card looks very, very similar. Like, I want to say that if I had the 87 version of Alfred Morris right now and compare them to 89 Mark Ingram, these cards look identical. So if you guys want a nice, cheap Alfred Morris without paying for it, get Mark Ingram, because that trucking is super nice, and in a game where tackling is kind of hard to do because the broken tackles are absurd, this is going to be a beast and a tank in the backfield and really, really good carry. He probably will be a nice back for a long while in this game for a nice price. So 3,000 coins, not a bad price for this running back. Now we are on to Vincent Ray, and this guy had a career day against the Baltimore Ravens, and I had to look at this guy's depth chart stats, and I'm completely confused by this card. I always come with the caveat saying outside linebackers such as Clay Matthews, Alden Smith, Von Miller aren't linebackers you want to put in coverage. They're strictly hybrid type defensive end players in that defensive scheme that rush the passer. And this guy in particular, I had to look it up because I'm pretty sure that the Bengals do not run a 3-4, they run a 4-3, and I thought they might have switched over to a 3-4 when Atkins went out, but in this case, they might have. This guy, Vincent Ray, he is a pretty good, consistent card in everything. I went to the depth chart, I went to all his stats, I checked out his zone coverage, an 80. That's pretty good for a linebacker. I checked out his man coverage, pretty better than the average, 71 overall. It's not the worst, so that's pretty decent. Then I also checked out this guy's finesse move. It's an 89. Like, that is so absurd. Like, this guy is really good at everything. Like, he's just an athlete. He can play coverage, he can blitz the quarterback. Like, he's just really good at being consistent and everything. So I like this card, and for its price, I really can't complain about 13,000 coins, and it will get cheaper than that. I'm gonna pick him up. I don't like his tackle though, and I also don't like his pursuit, but everything else in this card is pretty solid, especially for you guys out there. We're looking for good outside linebackers that are actually linebackers, because people out here using Chad Greenways, you're out here using Luke Kuechlys and all these guys that are linebackers strictly, and using these outside linebackers such as Clay Matthews at the defensive end spot. But this is a pretty beastly card. I'm going to pick him up when he gets cheap, but it's a really, really consistent card. So you guys looking for a nice linebacker that can do everything, Vincent Ray's your guy. He can blitz, he can drop back into coverage, and he's just so good at everything, and that is a nice touch of a linebacker who's so versatile to play multiple positions. Now we are on to James Ihedigbo. I don't know pronounce his last name at all. Ihedigbo. And going for right around 17,000 coins. I like this card only because this guy's stats actually reflect his overall rating. It makes sense to me. If you guys check out the safeties in this game, whether it be free safety or strong safety, their stats don't generally reflect their card. Like, you look at their attributes, you got the 88 speed, 88 agility, you got the 87 zone, 86 press. Like, everything is close enough to 90 overall, which I'm fine with, versus me looking at this Ronnie Lott, as you guys will see right coming up. Ronnie Lott, like, nothing on the back of Ronnie Lott's card or his depth chart actually reflects a 98 overall legendary card. Like, I don't know why that is. Maybe it was an error on their part, but usually when I'm seeing like stuff like this, I want to see stuff that's consistent to it. But with the Ronnie Lott legend, this card is super high for no reason. And same thing with Troy Polamalu. He's an 89 overall card, but the only thing over that on this card is his speed. Everything else is relatively low. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Ihedigbo. I keep saying his name wrong. I'm gonna pronounce it American. Ihedigbo. I'm liking what I see out of him, but there is nothing Nothing too appealing about his price right now, 17,000 coins. Right now I have Ronnie Lott, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep Ronnie Lott on my team. But if Ihedigbo comes down in price, I'll definitely try him out for you guys because I like having safety with good zone coverage and good speed because I like to play too deep for the most part. So Ihedigbo looks like he might be a good coverage safety. So I'll try him out once Ronnie Lott sells, but until then, Ronnie Lott's my man. Now we are on to probably the most highly coveted card in Madden this week in Tavon Austin, and I'm glad as hell I didn't buy the one last night for 55,000 coins. There was only 3 up last night, 55,000, 100,000, like 150. And I was like, somebody trying to price fix this nonsense? But I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to buy that one for 55,000. I'm going to go ahead and wait. And yes, his price has dropped to 48K, and it's probably going to keep getting cheaper. This is a nice card though. 96 speed, that's great. 98 agility, 91 catching, and 87 release with a 92 spec catch, and pretty bad catching in traffic and pretty nice route running. I want this card, like I really do want this card, but in a game where fumbles just occur randomly, I can't use this card on offense. Like, this would be a nice return, man. It'd be a nice little accessory to put back to return my kicks, but I'm not using this guy on the field at all because I use Antonio Brown, and I'm pretty sure his carry is like super low. I don't want to use a shorter, smaller wide receiver in Tavon Austin and go out there and catch balls across the middle of the field. He's pretty much going to be relegated to throwing the deep ball to and also returning kicks. So I'm not going to spend 48,000 coins on this card to return kicks. Not worth it in my opinion. I need more guys who are versatile on my team that can do more than one thing. But it's not a bad card. This is a pretty nice and solid card. It had better catching in traffic. It hopefully has a better carry than I think it is. It might be a nice card to have, but for its price right now, I'm going to go ahead and stay away from it. But it's a pretty fast card. 96 speed, 98 agility. Everybody says he's the fastest player in the NFL. So I'm going to go ahead and believe all the guys saying that and just go ahead and go with the flow, I guess. But compared to Steve Smith is a little bit more scrappy, as you guys can see. Not as fast, but this is 34-year-old Steve Smith, not like 21-year-old Tavon Austin. And he has pretty good catching in traffic, which is so good. But comparing to Antonio Brown, he's got 30,000 coins as well, so he has 2 more speed in Tavon Austin's favor. Better agility, catching's the same, route running's better. Like, pretty much this is just like a little faster Antonio Brown. And if his price gets around the same price that Brown was when I picked him up, I'll definitely get him. And I'm going to compare to D. Thomas, who's a lot taller, who has way better catching stats, but the catching trap is pretty much the same as well. So, yeah, this is not a bad card to have, but for its price right now, and I'm not going to pay that for it, but hopefully it gets down around maybe 30,000 coins. I'll go and pick one up for you guys, get some epic kick return for you. But that's a nice little fast card right there. Now we are on to one of the defensive stars of the week in Ahmad Brooks, and unlike Vincent Ray, this guy is a pass rusher extraordinaire. He's not a linebacker by any means to stretch the imagination. He pretty much is a hand-in-the-ground linebacker. The 49ers run a 3-4 defensive scheme. They got Aldon Smith on one side with Kevin Williams, and they got Ahmad Brooks with Ray McDonald on the other side. So this guy is a pass rusher extraordinaire, and I do like this card, though. 90 power move, pretty good zone coverage, so he dropped back in zone for the most part, but he's not as good at it. But good speed, good tackle, good block shed, and pretty good play recognition and good pursuit. Right now I'm using Von Miller, and Von Miller pretty much is the opposite. He has a little bit more speed, and he has a better finesse move than power move. But with my team, I like guys that get finesse move on the outside just because quarterbacks in this game are really fast. I don't need a guy who's kind of slow with a power move just because I don't feel like them to get into the quarterback because I want guys who are more athletic, I should say, out there on the ends and guys who are less athletic. So I would go with Von Miller over Ahmad Brooks, but it depends on what you guys want in your defensive scheme. You guys want guys that power moves and power moves only, or you want a mixture of the two? So pretty much it comes down to what you guys think would be a better fit for your team. I'm going to go with Von Miller because I've used him, but if Ahmad Brooks gets cheaper, I'll definitely try him out for you guys, see how he performs at that left end slot. Our last card this week is Beast Mode Marshawn Lynch, and I checked the price of each collectible, and right now the collection will cost anybody 200,000 coins if you don't pull any of the cards. So if you happen to pull each and every single one of your cards, I would strongly urge you guys to sell them right now and just pick up the 95 overall Marshawn Lynch. But before I go ahead and get to which card I would personally get, I'm going to go ahead and look at the stat increase from his 92 to 95 to 96. 92 card is his base card that came out day 1 when the game released. The 95 came out last week on Thursday, and now we got the 96 who came out on Tuesday. And you guys see the stat increase. The speed went up from an 88 to a 91 to a 92, and you got the elusiveness go from a 76 to an 84 all the way to an 87. So everything on this card that boosted up is kind of irrelevant. I don't really care about but I don't really care about elusiveness too much when it comes to a power back. It's nice to have, but 87 overall is not the same as LaShawn McCoy's 99 overall, but the trucking is there. go from a 95 to 97, another insignificant stat boosting there, so not really that major of an increase. So if you guys are going to get this collection done, I would just strongly urge you guys to go ahead and sell all the collectibles, just because you're not going to get much value back, considering that you can't even sell the card. Now, if you can auction off the 96 Beast Mode, I would say go ahead and get the collection done, but since you cannot auction a card off, it doesn't make any sense for anybody to spend 200,000 coins on a halfback, and even if the collection only costs 100,000 coins, go with 95 overall Marshawn Lynch, the elite one. Just because if you don't like the card, you can always sell it, or maybe another one comes out in the near future, such as 99 overall Marshawn Lynch. You'd be better off selling the elite one than having the 96 one on your team that you can't even sell. So that's how I try to get more value out of the game. I don't want to do the collection lose coin on it. I'd rather buy the elite one, 95, spend 100k less than what the 96 one's costing right now, and then just be happy with that until a new one comes out or until I find another running back that I want on my team. That's what I would do with the cards, and that is the Marshawn Lynch Beast Mode. And this is one of those cards that is on that hashtag insignificant stat boosting nonsense that needs to stop. And that is the video, folks. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button and make sure you check out my recent uploads. And before I go, I want to mention this week 10's football outsider cards are going to be. And we're starting out with a Shane Lechler, punter from the Houston Texans, 7 punts, averaging 58.9 yards gross. So he's getting better as the Texans get worse. That's pretty funny. Then we have second cornerback in Keenan Lewis. I don't know why he gets a card. It said they limited Dez Bryant to 1 catch, but if you guys watched that game with the Saints against the Cowboys, Dez Bryant was double bracketed for most of the entire game. So I don't know why they're saying that they're limiting Dez to 1 catch when he had help the entire time. It should be 2 Saints cornerbacks instead of 1, but it is what it is. We have Kevin Williams, the defensive tackle from the Minnesota Vikings, who had 1.5 sacks and 4 tackles for loss against, I believe, the Washington Redskins. And we have Davin Joseph, right guard, Tampa Buccaneers, gained 87 yards and 11 carries, listed as right guard, so I'm cool with that. And the big card this week, who I'm very, very happy about, is Luke Kuechly, and middle linebacker for Carolina Panthers, limited edition, 11 tackles, 4 defeats, don't know what that is at all, and a pass deflection and a sack. So I'm happy we got another Luke Kuechly coming out. If you guys bought the 94 for like 50,000 coins, sell him immediately. His price will drop this weekend, so you guys might pick him back up cheaper if you guys can get the limited edition one. So that is the video. I'm the Texas boy. I'm out. This mother bleeper. Peace.